Today in this 2002 Jeep Liberty, we're going to install part number RM-155 from Roadmaster. This is a Roadmaster taillight wiring kit with bulbs. First thing we need to do is go ahead and remove the taillights from the vehicle. Looks like there's two Torx head bolts that we have to remove. We're going to use a T20 Torx head bit to remove the bolts. There's a couple of attachment pins here and here. Using a wide bar, in this case a plastic prybar, we can go ahead and pop it loose. We can disconnect the wiring from the light. We'll go ahead and unlock it first to press down this tab to go ahead and pull it away. And then we have to work this loose from the clip here. We got our passenger side done. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the driver's side. To do your driver's side, it's good to have an extension onto your bit and route it from the door into the screws behind the light. Now we're going to install our bulb and socket at the bottom location right here. So it'll light up this part of the lens. And there's no bulb there, so we'll go ahead and use that. First we'll go ahead and put in a 1/4-inch pilot hole. Then we'll follow it up with a 1-inch hole saw bit. We'll go ahead and install our bulb and socket. Yes, it's going to be a tight fit, but if you go straight in, it pushes through. Now we need to spread these guys out so it gets a grip on the housing here. Take a flat blade screwdriver and just kind of raise it up just a little bit. And do this with each one all the way around. One more test fit. Make sure the prongs are opened up enough. And if you're satisfied with it, then you go ahead and just push it into place. Next, we'll go ahead and seal all this up and all the open holes with some silicone. Let's go ahead and repeat it on the driver's side. It's a little bit different shape, but it's going to be in the same location. Working on the right-hand side or the passenger side taillight, let's go ahead and strip our wires. And we'll go ahead and add our butt connectors now. Now we'll add our larger butt connectors to these wires when we make our connection to our 4-pole wire harness that will run to the front of the vehicle. Now this is a wire harness we're going to run to the front to the rear. Now it has two 4-pole ends on it. Now we only need one up by the front of the vehicle. So we're just going to cut off the other end and maybe save the cap, but the rest of it's history. Let's go ahead and install our wire harness. All right, we're going to start over on the passenger side of the vehicle and take our 4-pole end that will go to the front. We're just going to drop this through between the bumper cover and the bodywork. We'll go ahead and pull it out the bottom. Let's go ahead and split our wires back a little bit, so give it some working room. Now on the passenger side, we'll need our ground, our running light signal, and our right turn signal and brake, which will be a green. Our yellow one doesn't need to be used on this side, so we can go ahead and cut this guy short. Let's go ahead and strip our wires, and we'll go ahead and add our wires from our taillight to this. Maybe a little bit more than the factory length. We'll go ahead and add a zip tie to it and hold it in place. Let's go ahead and hook up our wires. Our running light circuit is going to be brown, and on our bulb and socket will also be brown. Our right turn signal and our brake signal will be green, and that'll go to red on our bulb and socket. White's going to be ground, so we'll hook that up to our black wire. After our connections are made, we'll go ahead and use some electrical tape to help give them a little extra protection. And we can go ahead and reinstall the taillight. Put the factory connection back in, make sure it locks back in place. We'll also put our clip back in here, tuck our wires in, and reinstall the light. Let's go ahead and route our 4-pole over to our driver's side now. I think in this case, we're just going to follow the top of the hitch and zip tie along the hitch. And while you're here, you want to make sure you stay away from the exhaust as well. Now the zip ties that come in the kit aren't going to be long enough, so it's a good idea to go out and get yourself some extra long zip ties to wrap around the hitch. Now we're going to need to pull this wire back up to here. To do that, we're going to use the old piece of airline tubing that we can route down. There's also going to be a piece of wire that can hold its shape as well. Let's go ahead and split our wires. Now, since we're on the driver's side, we won't need the green wire, so I'm just going to fold that back and out of the way. So we got our ground, our running light circuit, and our left turn and brake lights. Let's go ahead and hook these guys up. We'll do the easy one first. Work for yellow wire for the left turn signal. Make sure which end goes towards the front, so it's this side. This half of the yellow wire is going to the other side. We won't need it, we'll cut it short. And that will go to our turn signal circuit, which is red on our bulb and socket. And we'll go ahead and add our butt connectors now. Using the larger yellow ones, we'll go ahead and fold the wire over to give it a little more grip. Next we'll work for our brown wire for running lights. That will need to go to both sides. So we'll cut this wire in half, strip both sides, and put a butt connector to join them again, and that'll be our junction. And that will go to our brown wire, to our bulb and socket. Now we need to do the same thing with the white wire for ground. When the vehicle is being towed, ground will be supplied by the towing vehicle. However, it's always a good idea to have a ground from here to go to the bodywork as well on the vehicle, because it might get a ground from the tow bar as well. I'm going to vary a little bit because I'm going to use an extra piece of white wire to run from here to the sheet metal. You could also peel back a little bit more and pull off a chunk and do it that way as well. We'll connect our ground from our bulb and socket to our white wire extension for ground. Go ahead and cut off our extra length, and we'll attach the ring terminal that comes with the kit. We're going to use a self-tapping screw, a number 8 size, that uses a 1/4 inch nut driver. Once again, we'll use some electrical tape to help protect our butt connectors. Let's tuck our wires back in. Let's go ahead and add a zip tie to our wires. We'll go ahead and reinstall this taillight. Now it's a matter of just running our 4-pole wire up towards the front. When we do that, we'll stay away from anything moving like suspension components or anything hot like the exhaust. And when we get towards the front of the vehicle, we're going to go up in the engine compartment a little bit and then back down to our bumper. We'll go ahead and follow our path. Now how we did it is we went ahead and went back up over the hitch alongside the gas tank. Zip tied to anything that we could that was secure, went over some brackets, and then we just basically followed these lines going up towards the engine compartment. We zip tied in approximately the same places where the lines were mounted. You can see I went in a straight line going up. Now using the same wire pull trick as before, we'll go ahead and pull our wire up. Make sure it's pulled up away from the exhaust. And then we'll route the way we want it. We'll come around the battery and then back down. Because eventually there'll be an upgrade to a supplemental braking system on here, so we need easy access to our wires. An extra loop in here, we'll go ahead and zip tie and secure it. Then we'll go ahead and route our 4-pole wire to the bumper. We'll straight back down, work to the front here, and we're just going to scooter on over to the center here and zip tie it for safekeeping. Let's go ahead and put our cover back into place. It's easier to pull through without the cover. This is the length that we can easily get to, and we'll zip tie the rest to our base plate. We can take this and just tuck it between the plastic and the base plate. It'll stay in place there. Everything's installed. Let's go ahead and apply power and check it out. Running lights, right turn, left turn. Okay, with everything working, that'll finish it for our install. Part number RM-155 on our 2002 Jeep Liberty